Hello, everyone. RWB Sports here, closing out another great night of boxing held at the Wind Creek Casino. King's Promotions, Ring Wars 10. It was captivating. It was 7 exciting bouts. As we're going to walk you through each bout, and we're going to give you the decided decision on what the judges and how the judges called it after each fight. I want to give a big thank you to Marshall Kaufman and King's Promotions for allowing RWB Sports to be out there and be a part of this exciting event on Friday night. Also like to give a big thank you to Henry Discombobulating Jones, as he was the MC on the mic tonight inside the ring. Want to give a big shout out to BXNG TV for allowing us to come in and bring our cameras and do what we do at RWB Sports. Big shout out also to Mark Abrams for being the commentator on the mic tonight for BXNGT with my guy, Travis My Time Kaufman, was his assistant as they were calling the play-by-play tonight at Ring Wars 10, held out at the Wind Creek Casino. So let's go ahead and get into it with no further ado. Let's go ahead and get into the first fight of the night. There is a 8-rounder. Angel Chavez coming by way of San Jose, California, 9-0 with 7 knockouts, taking on super middleweight Khainell Wheeler from right here in Bethlehem, PA. His deceiving record of 7-4 with 6 KOs. This was an 8-round bout. Wheeler came into the ring with a slightly disadvantage of being 7-6 or 7-4 with 6 knockouts. Chavez is a prospect and one of the ones that you will be seeing later on down the road on King's Promotions in the super middleweight division, as he took out Wheeler in the second round. If you look in the first round, he dropped Wheeler early in the first round, and from that moment on, Wheeler did a lot of moving around the ring as he was trying to abort the heavy punches coming from Chavez, but he was still hanging in there, wanting to be determined until he went ahead and created a stoppage in the second round. It was 1 minute and 38 seconds in the second round. Chavez put an end to it and stopping Wheeler. We don't want to take anything away from Wheeler. Wheeler was a very determined opponent tonight, but he was just outmatched. He was outclassed. You can see it for yourself. So we'll turn to it here in just a second and let you see exactly what went on. Now, let's go ahead and turn on to our second fight of the night. In the female division, we have Stephanie Hahn, who is a lightweight prospect. She was come in at 135 pounds. This is an 8-rounder, and she was going against Wendelin Cruz, and it went all 8 rounds. It was 8 2-minute rounds, and Hahn won in unanimous decision. But let's walk through this for a little bit. And 6-0 with 2 knockouts. Stephanie Hahn, coming to us by way of El Paso, Texas, is applying the pressure here, and she's applying the pressure, and Hahn is doing more. Cruz is doing more running than she is boxing. One of the things I did notice with Hahn, she is 6-0 with 2 knockouts. She is not a polished gem yet. She's an asher. And if you know what that means that, she's forming a gem. She's in the process of forming a gem. She just hasn't been polished yet, because I've seen a few flaws in her game that Cruz picked up on, and that was a reason why I think Hahn couldn't get her out of there. Just for the simple fact is that if you watch her left elbow, her jab hand, every time she would get ready to throw it, it's cocked out to the side. Whenever she would throw it, it would raise even more. Cruz would see that, and she would beat her to the punch. She would either out-punch her, or she would slip it because she would see it coming. Not taking anything away from Hahn, because Hahn is an excellent fighter. She's an upcoming prospect in the 135-pound weight class. Now, with that said, also in the 135-pound weight class was there tonight watching. She was ringside. I guarantee you she was paying attention to everything Hahn was doing, every move. She was watching everything, because I have a feeling later on down the road, King's Promotions is going to make that fight happen. And I'm talking about the #1 contender in the 135-pound weight class, and that is Brittany Sims. Brittany Sims was ringside tonight as she gets ready to fight 5 days later, and we'll get into that by the end of the show. But if you see here, Han was applying the pressure. Cruz was doing more running and more holding and more complaining than fighting, and which caused Han to come out victorious with a unanimous decision. It went all 8 rounds. Han could have got her out of there if she would have brought those elbows in a little bit and she would learn to relax, because later on in the rounds, she was doing more pushing her punches opposed to throwing her punches. So that's just a little something that I saw being on the outside looking in. But that doesn't make me the greatest coach in the world. It just lets me know that, I saw something. I saw a flaw there in her young career that she can correct going on down the road, that's going to help her as she gets into these tougher fights later on down the road. And it'll keep her from pushing punches and televising punches and throwing punches. And it may bring her to getting these opponents out of there a little bit quicker, because she has the power, but she's just televising her punches. So when you do that, it gives your opponent an opportunity to be able to slip, turn, or roll with the punch, which takes a lot of the power off the punch, and you're not able to get them out of there. And I think that was the problem tonight with Han, because she was televising. But with that said, she still came out victorious. She still took her record to 7-0 with 2 knockouts, and I guarantee you we're going to see her again later on down the road. I promise you, Kaufman is going to bring her back on a King's promotion card. And like I said, don't be surprised if you don't see her going up against the #1 WBA 135-pounder contender in Brittany Sims. Now, let's go on to bout number 3. Khainell Phelps, Chata time. I know he was very impressive. If you watch here, he got him out of there with 2 minutes and 36 seconds into the 3rd round. But his opponent came out, Fernando Valdez from Salt Lake City, Arkansas. He was a different opponent. All right, he was different. He came in there, he was game, he was hungry. Just when Chata thought that he was going to come in there in the 1st round and get him out of there, don't get me wrong. Chata is another one of those Ashford gyms that they're formed into a gym, but they're just not polished yet. But I'm going to tell you what, when they bring out the buffer for this guy, when they bring out the buffer for Phipps to polish him, I guarantee you this guy is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the super bantamweight division. It was only 4 rounds. It went 3 rounds, and he actually got him out of there, like I said, in 2 minutes and 36 seconds. But Chata gave this guy everything he had in the 1st and 2nd and halfway through the 3rd round. I mean, he was giving him angles. He was giving him uppercuts. He was giving him overhands. He was really throwing some power shots. He was hammering for the fences. But hats off to Valdez, because he came and he was willing to give it all he had. Even in the 3rd round when they stopped it, he looked over at the judges. He looked at the referee and wanted to know why the fight was stopped. If you see right here, the fight was stopped, Valdez, because you're not throwing punches. If you don't want the fight to be stopped, you got to throw punches. Now, granted, you were slipping and you wasn't taking solid shots, but still, the referee's job is to protect you. If you're not showing that you're defending yourself, or that you're combative, and that you're still able to uphold your own in this fight, his job is to stop it. So don't look surprised at the judges. Don't look over there at the referee and ask why they stopped it. Be thankful they stopped it, because it looked like Chata was in destruction mode. He looked like he was about to take you out, and the referee stepped in and saved you. But you are a very eager opponent. We'll probably see you again on another King's card, as we have another fighter up and coming that you will be able to be a contender for. But, hats off to you. It was a good thing that we stopped it. Let's give a big congratulations to Chata, because he came in, he did what he was supposed to do. He handled his business. He gave him angles. He gave him shots. He wasn't allowing him to hold him, and he was throwing shots on the inside, which eventually got this fight stopped. So now on to fight 4. Fight 4 was a very good fight. which I didn't realize this was another PA title fight months ago, back in 2003. Julian the Gifted Gonzalez, he did win the Super Featherweight title, the Pennsylvania Super Featherweight title. Tonight he came into the ring with his 12-0-1 record, going 8 rounds against Osvaldo Morales, and Morales gave it his all. He gave him everything that he wanted. He was very, how can I put it? He was very eager to come in there and try to take that belt from Gonzalez. But in the 6th round, Gonzalez stepped it up. He did what he had to do. You know, he got the ring experience. You know, he increased his resume with ring time with Morales, and ended up taking him out 2 minutes and 19 seconds into the 6th round. If you watch here in the 2nd round, Gonzalez is working with him. He's moving, but he's getting a little overzealous. Once again, he's trying to swing for the fences, and he's missing. If you don't know anything about boxing, you use more energy missing a punch than you do landing a punch. And a lot of these guys, they get in front of their home crowd and they want to give their fans what they came for, a knockout or a very one-sided fight. And a lot of times they exert more energy than they really should have. So if you look at Gonzalez in the 4th and 5th round, it looks like he's running out of gas, but really what he's doing is he's reserving his tank, because he realized in the 1st and 2nd round that he exerted more energy than he should trying to take him out. And with Morales hanging in there, took him into deeper waters. It almost cost him, because in the 4th and 5th round, Morales was actually throwing shots and landing. And so it looked like Gonzalez got tired. But like I said, in the 6th round, Gonzalez realized he had to go in and dig deep. When he came out of the corner, he realized what he had to do. He went to business. He settled down. He got back to the game plan of what they went through in camp. You can tell because he became more focused, and you can see he started putting his punches together. And when he did, he eventually got Morales out of there in 2 minutes and 19 seconds into the 6th round. Now, let's go to our heavyweights. This was a bout that, you know, could have went either way, I think. Adam Atiye came in as his pro debut in a 4-rounder against Joseph Bond out of Orlando, Florida. Now, Bond had 5 fights. Now, when they announced it, he had 5 fights, but they didn't say what his record was. Bond is actually 0-5. But if you look and see the fight as it goes on, because it went all 4 rounds, you can tell that Bond had a little more ringmanship than Adams did, but Adams came out victorious in his pro debut. I want to say congratulations, hats off to you. I can't pronounce that name, Atiye. If I do, I think I got that right. Congratulations, Atiye. I hope to see you again on one of the King's Promotions cards. You are 1-0. You're going to have to step it up a little bit. You know, if you want to be a contender in the heavyweight division, if you're just coming out there just to see if you can do it, you did it. Congratulations. Get out of there before you get yourself hurt, or get back in the gym and get you a little more training. If you would have been in there with anybody that had any sort of amateur experience, it would have been a rough night for you. I don't want to pour rain on your victory, because you did win, and I want to say congratulations, but go back to the lab, work on a few things, run. I can't say it enough. Run. Those big guys, they don't run anymore. They don't get out there. They don't do the road work. It shows when they get into these fights. Within, 6 minutes, you're exhausted. You got to realize it takes us big guys longer to recover in between rounds, because we have so much mass. It takes longer for your muscles to replenish the oxygen for you to get back out there to go another 3 minutes. You're fighting 3 minutes, you're resting 1 minute. There's no way that you're going to be able to train your body to recover and recuperate in that 60 seconds unless you get out there and you hit that pavement. You run, you run, you run. And I'm not talking about a treadmill. I'm not talking about jumping rope. I'm talking about getting out there, hitting that asphalt and running. And the reason I say you get out there and you pound the pavement because the different elevations of the road you can't control. You can control it on a treadmill and you can get into a comfort zone to where you're running a regular pace. But if you're out there on the road, remember, if you run a mile out, you got to run a mile back. So you've done 2 miles right there. So please do me a favor, get out there, run. I want to see you back on the Kings card. I want to see you back on any card, actually, because I think you have potential. You got a very still chin. I think you can take a punch, but I just want to see you be able to throw a punch. And I want to be able to see you throw several punches, not just 1 or 2, but several. Now, let's go ahead and get into our co-main event. Our co-main event was another PA title bout. It was in the lightweight division as Johnny Spell from Pittsburg. Well, I won't say Pittsburg. I'd say Johnny Spell coming from by way of, how can I put it? Troublesburg. All right. He came by way of Troublesburg, and I'm going to explain that in a minute as he took on James Bernadin from Lancaster, PA. We had the Battle of PA, and the reason that I say Johnny Spell came from Troublesburg is because he came in to give James Bernadin trouble, and that's exactly what he did. This 8-round bout, this 8-round lightweight bout was for the PA lightweight title, and Johnny Spell came in with the mindset that, hey, this is for bragging rights for PA, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to give James Bernadin all the problems that he wants. I mean, we've seen Bernadin on several cards. We've seen him at the 2300 Arena. We've seen him at the Live Casino. We've seen him here at the Wind Creek Casino. We know that he has an impressive record of 11-2-1. Now he's 12-2-1 because he did win tonight. But if we take a look at the footage, we can see as Spell, as he first came out, if you notice, he was using that jab, he was throwing that jab, he was keeping the shorter Bernadin at a distance to where he could get his shots off. But Bernadin went back to his corner in between rounds and he slowly started reeling him in. It's just like, a fisherman out there with, a big bass on there. You don't want to reel him in too quick because he's going to slip off the hook or he'll break the line. If you notice, Bernadin, he's working him, he's going to the body, he's working him, he's going to the body, he's gradually breaking him down. And what he ends up doing is breaking him down to the point to where he is not throwing as many punches and he's not moving as much. Bernadin had a little trouble getting inside because he is the shorter person, he is the shorter man, he had the shorter arms, so he was doing a lot of lunging, but he was creating pressure. He was forcing the issue. He was forcing the fight. He was causing Spell to punch when he didn't want to punch. He was causing him to miss a lot of punches, even though Bernadin was missing a lot of punches too because of the shorter guy having to leap and lunge to get his shots off. Bernadin still came out victorious on a split decision. So we will go to the cards on that. It was 2-1 for Bernadin. Bernadin came out as the new lightweight, Pennsylvania lightweight champion at 12-2-1 now with 6 KOs. That doesn't mean Johnny Spell is done. That just means Johnny Spell has to go back to the lab. He has to figure out what he done wrong. Once again, what I saw in the fight is he ran out of gas. He got fatigued. He wasn't able to throw the punches that he was throwing in the first, second, and third round. It was just the fact that he couldn't punch anymore. That fight could have went either way. It could have easily went Spell's way opposed to Bernadin's way. But Bernadin came out victorious in that when he got the win, and he is now the new Pennsylvania champion. Now, the one that I want to get to is the main event. This is the one that everybody was waiting on. This one that kept butts in seats all night because everybody was anticipating this fight. I'm going to tell you, Javier Morel came to bring the noise. He did. He came to bring the noise, and he gave Thonjay the Tiger Teasley everything he wanted. It was a great fight from the opening bell to the closing bell because each one of these guys had a plan. Now, it could have went either way as well because what I saw in this fight, and you'll see it as well, is that what I call a drip method. And what I mean by that is because one would come out and they would be on fire and they would take the first half of the fight. Then the second one would come on and take the second half of the fight. And this went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all 8 rounds. In the middle rounds, Javier, he stepped it up a little bit and he took a couple of the middle rounds, which could have easily gave him the victory over Thonjay Teasley. But Thonjay Teasley dug deep. Once again, he went back to his corner. He figured out what was going on because if you see, I mean, Morales, it was very slick. You know, his record doesn't dictate, you know, what type of fighter he is. He's 6-4-1 with 1 KO. And you would look at that record and be like, hey, this is going to be a walkover. But if you watch, let's go and watch a couple of these rounds and you can see for yourself and you let me know what you think because he was very crafty. He was very slick. You know, it's not something that he was new to. You could tell that he had experience in there and he probably had a little more experience than his record shows. They probably put him in there with hammers in the beginning of his career, which gave him 4 losses right off the bat. And now he feels as though he's a stepping stone for some of these fighters that are coming up and they're trying to improve their record, but they're also trying to elevate their game. He's one of those guys that you would stick a fighter in there to see where they are, to see what they're going to do, and to see where they're going to go. Because I'm telling you, anybody that wasn't ready or anybody that wasn't prepared for this fight, he would have stopped them. But luckily enough, Thonjay Teasley, he turned down an interview with me so he could focus and train on this fight. And it paid off. You could tell because he was very focused. He got caught with some good shots, but it doesn't seem like it fazed him. And right there in the 8th and final round, they got a little mouthy. Thonjay was talking to him. He was letting him know that he wasn't going anywhere. He was going to be here for the duration. And by doing so, he kept his hands up. He kept his hands moving. He kept throwing punches. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the first and second round and the 8th round is what really put it over the top for Teasley and got him the unanimous decision overturning. So that took Thonjay Teasley to 10-0. He's 10-0 now with 4 knockouts. It was his first 8-rounder. It was his first headliner, and he came out victorious. 10-0, young man, you're doing great. I want to say congratulations to all these young men on this card because and women on this card, because anytime you step into that ring, you know, you're taking a chance on getting seriously hurt, or you're taking a chance on losing, or whatever the case may be. When you come down and you walk down that aisle, you walk down that tunnel, and you make your ring walk to the ring, you have a lot of things going through your head. And one of the things that you don't really think about is climbing into that ring and getting hurt. But to those fight fans that are watching, and to those inspired fighters who want to get in the ring or go out there and they do boxercise or they do cardio boxing or whatever the case may be, this is a very dangerous sport. So each time one of those men and women, young men and women climb through those ropes, they taking a chance on getting seriously hurt. So, you know, it's a lot of preparation, a lot of hard work that goes into getting ready for a fight. It's not just, you know, go to the gym and hit a couple of bags and hit a couple of hand pads, jump a few rounds of rope, then get in there and compete. That's not it at all. These guys, they sacrifice a lot. So RWB Sports want to say thank you to those men and women who climb between those ropes and give us a job every day. Because if it wasn't for you sacrificing and doing what you do, I would have nothing to talk about. The fans would have nothing to watch. we would have nothing to do. I guess we would have to watch MMA or kickboxing or something like that. But I'm glad you all do what you do because it gives us something to do. It gives the fans something to watch. So now that rounds out Ring Wars 10 at the Wind Creek Casino. Like I said, I want to give a thanks to King's Promotions, Marshall Kaufman, for allowing us to come out. Give a big thank you to BXNG TV for streaming it. Give a big thanks to Mark Abrams for being on the mic, commentating along with my guy Travis, my time Kaufman. And a big thank you to Henry Discombobulating Jones for being in the ring, being the MC for the night. But let's go ahead because it won't be long, 5 days, just 5 days from now. Well, actually 4 now. We're going to be at the 2300 Arena in the historic district of Philadelphia as Ring Wars, not Ring Wars, as Team Combat League has a second fight of season 2. Philly Smoke, ran by Bob Kane, who you saw tonight here at Ring Wars 10, getting the ring. He was acknowledged for being the head coach for Philly Smoke. And Brittany Sims, who is a competitor on Philly Smoke, they will take on LA Elite this Wednesday night. Doors open at 6, first bells at 7, doors open at 5, first bells at 7. As Elite comes in to a hostile environment when they come to Philly. Philly just a couple of weeks ago beat the reigning champions in New York City. Attitude beat them 228 to 227. Now they're looking forward to doing the same thing to LA Elite as they come from the West Coast to the East Coast to try to create havoc here in Philadelphia. But Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. Philadelphia is also the city of hard-hitting fighters and grinders. So be careful, LA Elite coming in here thinking that you're going to disrupt things because April 10th, they're going to let you know. They're going to ask you, how much smoke do you want? Because you know what I said last time when I was out there interviewing the guys as they was practicing getting ready for New York City Attitude, where there's smoke, there's fire. All I can say is don't mess around and get burnt. That's what New York City Attitude did. They thought they could come in there with fire extinguishers, and they got a real quick attitude adjustment, messed around and got burnt, got beat 227, 228 in favor of Philly Smoke. Big hats off to Bob Kane and Team Chaos and Team Smoke as they get ready for season 2, the second fight of Team Combat League. So with that said, this is Reginald Peoples giving you a follow-up of tonight's Ring Wars 10 in King's Promotions. Ring Wars 11 is probably going to be just as exciting, so stay tuned. I will get updates and I will get all the information I can on Ring Wars 11, let you know where it's going to be, when it's going to be. Hopefully you guys will find out in time where you can get tickets and you can come out and hang out with me, RWB Sports and BXNG TV. And I want to start getting up close and personal with the fans, talking to the fans. So if you see me out there, give me a shout. But this is a wrap up. I hope you enjoyed tonight. I hope you enjoyed the fights. I hope you get ready for Team Combat League Bout 2 as Philly Smoke takes on LA Elite. So we're just staying busy, busy, busy. This is Reginald Peoples with RWB Sports, and we'll see you in the turn.